is the next time I'll start the run. So I'll count down to start the timer after I do that. After the game switches again. So okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And so this is the first level of Bad Mojo Dojo. You'll notice I'm getting that phone right there. What the phones do is that they let you call one of the Powerpuff Girls to do a special attack while the screen's frozen in. And Buttercup's phone, the green phone, is the strongest phone, so I'll be wanting to get those whenever I can. And I just abruptly switched there to battle him where I control Bubbles. And unfortunately I missed that phone, but luckily the boss fight is not that hard, so I don't need to go back and get it. This first boss fight, generally the boss fights in this game aren't that bad. This is not that hard of the game generally. There are some tricky sections. But we're just running around here, and you'll see I'm going left in this game, but going right. But I think I'm going right in other games, so that could make things a bit tricky. But well, hopefully I won't have anything that go too wrong here. Okay, luckily I was playing right in both games later. I just kind of abruptly switched, so there's some... It's not that bad yet, but it can get pretty tricky later on. I haven't even started. Okay, I finally started playing Count to go green. And this one I control Buttercup. One thing with the games is that you start with you automatically start with one of the phones of the girl that you're controlling. So in this game I automatically already start with the strongest phone, which is nice, but the boss fights in this game are probably the trickiest, so it's important to have them. And I also want to pick up other phones when I can. This level is really short also, it's only a little over a minute, optimally. And I start with, I'll have 2 green phones for the boss, which will deal almost all the damage to just defeat the boss right there. And there I found this Bellman, and getting one of those like scenes where you talk to one of the characters is a checkpoint. So if I die, I'll start back there. And I also need to complete those scenes to get to the next area. So that's how progression in this game generally works. And it makes sequence breaking a little tricky to do, or it makes it so you pretty much cannot do it, because even if you're able to sequence break to another part, the door will likely be locked because you didn't talk to one of the people that you need to. And so here, this is a tricky part of this game. You need to go through that thing layer to get this key, and it can be, it's pretty intuitive that you need to do that, so it can take a while to get past that part of the game when you're playing it at first, because you don't know that's what you do. Wow, I didn't know what to do that. Luckily there was a checkpoint there, so it is not a big deal, really. It only loses a few seconds. It's only a big deal if I end up game overing, which I shouldn't happen. This level is not really that bad, but there are a lot of bottomless pits. And it can be bad if I just abruptly switch game when I'm over 1. I just kind of lose the wrong way a little bit later. And we're just about the boss. And so I'm going to be facing him. This is the villain I fight for this game. So I can just kind of keep doing this, just walk left and right, hitting him with this. The chemical X I'm shooting there is in the top middle end. it just freezes the enemy but does not deal damage, so it can sometimes be useful, but it doesn't deal any damage itself. It just makes it easier to attack to hit the enemy. So now we're going to be heading to the first boss of this game. I'm facing Mojo Jojo here, and this is just the villain of this game, the primary villain of Bad Mojo Jojo, and who I'll generally be facing for most of the fights. But there are some different villains to fight through the game. Wait, no, that wasn't what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to just attack Ace with the bones, like I'm doing here. And the hitbox can be a little tricky, so if Ace is in his animation of throwing the basketball, you can't deal any damage. I could be totally wrong that is. I think I am wrong because I think Ace is the one who has the bats. Yeah, I'm facing bosses in both games now, so this is one thing so far. Already finished the levels in the games. And I think I'm about to finish. I don't think I've finished the other one yet. Oh, right, I want to get this phone because it helps a lot with boss coming up. And here is a... Oh, okay, I'm not quite there yet, but a pretty tricky part of the run's coming up, because I'm going to be in Headland at the train section here, and when I'm in Headland, it can be pretty punishing if I suddenly switch games in the middle of Headland and I'm moving left in one game and then switch having to move right in this game, because I'll just move really quickly to the left, and it'll make me lose a lot of time. It could even make me lose life if things don't go well. So I'm just kind of going against the wind here, especially if I'm over Longest Pits. I hope I don't end up having to switch games here. And so the set pieces of the levels do generally kind of repeat, but the levels still do play a little differently from each other, so this is pretty similar to style to like the Pokemon games, because there is like link connectivity where you can trade trading coins between the games and such to unlock secrets using the link cable. So it kind of follows a lot in that format, just the Pokemon format of having different games for the Game Boy Color. Oh my gosh, that was too scary. I was almost fell down there. And also I need to be careful of switching to Townsville Green, because I'm having to move right in that game, and I'm having to move left in this one. Okay, I was aware that I might just suddenly switch this game, so I was kind of trying to avoid holding left, and luckily that really helped for this. Hopefully on this like iteration of it, I can complete this. Okay, yeah. The thing with the shuffler is that I have it set to switch games every 15 to 45 seconds. I'll also talk about the shuffler. This is a program that was made by Author Blues, and it's based on one that was made up 5 or 6 years ago. But if you just search Author Blues GitHub, you can find the shuffler and play with it yourself. And there's a pretty wide range of support, and it's pretty awesome. So I definitely recommend checking the shuffler out. Hitboxes here can be kind of finicky, and there we go. That's that part done. Hopefully I don't have anything dangerous I'm having to worry about right now. So, at least that I can remember in these 3 games. I realize I need to get that fun because it's not really necessary for the fight coming up, because I can deal with just about all the damage I need in just the 2 times I have. So it's not necessary to get that, but it's because it doesn't lose much time to get it. Oh wow, I'm glad that I realized I was playing this game quickly enough. That flight there that I was doing requires all of the stamina gauge, so if I would have fell there, I would have had to wait on the stamina for real, so it's a good thing I realized I was playing this game in time. Wait, where am I? And that's another thing, the stamina gauge at the top right. It lets you fly up, but if you run out, you start falling. If you're getting hit by an enemy, you'll start losing stamina, so... Or, no, you won't be regaining stamina, so that can be really tricky to deal with. That's that boss time. You can just do it with 2 Buttercup Thumbs. Just defeat Princess Marbox with 2 Buttercup Thumbs there. Oh, well that worked. Well, I hope that won't put me in a pit. I didn't get the flight quite as quickly as I usually do. So I could just end up falling in a pit if that did not work. I think you go down. Okay, never mind, I'm good. And let's take level of that game down. And so now I'm going to the Townville subway. In red. I'll probably just use red, blue, and green for simplicity. And this level is pretty short. I recently found a pretty good route change. Just go inside the dark, the unlit train station. Wait, did I? Okay, the train is just to the left here. And this I'm gonna be having tailwind, which is pretty fun to play around with, because if you just fly up, you go really quickly. But I want to be a little careful with my stamina, and I also cannot really see my stamina if I'm getting a collectible, so that's something I have to keep in mind. So I need to kind of gauge how much I have without the stamina bar. And so I think you just want to go down here. I'm getting hit. Getting hit generally isn't that big an issue, but it can be if things do not go well. Because there are quite a few collectibles to recover health. But if I just kind of take damage too much, I will be at risk of losing my life, so I do want to be a bit careful. Okay, good though. I did not get grabbed by the wrestler. Yeah, the downward facing slide is definitely something. Sprites in this game are definitely together. I don't know, even though this game, like, I don't know. Even though, like, the hit detection and various things with this game are a little tricky to get used to, I still have a lot of fun playing this, just because it really moves quickly when you know how to do the movements. Like, if you're just flying up like I am. One other thing is that with the controls, it can be really easy to just take deaths when you don't want to, and deaths are really punishing because you have to restart from a checkpoint, and they can be pretty far back at times. And that phone I just got there, it's really helpful to get, but it can be a little tricky if you just miss it. With how, like, loose the controls are, it can be really easy to just miss it. Miss the power, but have to go back and get it in. With the currents, it can be and you also cannot punch when you're in that state. You can't punch when you're in the getting hurt state also, so that can also be a pretty punching thing about any hits. And also entering the hearts is deceptively tricky, just because the hitbox, it feels like it's slightly smaller than you would expect. Oh, I didn't need to attack them, but that's okay. Also, if you use the phones to attack when the boss is in their iframes, you'll deal 1 less damage. So, due to attacking an extra time, I was able to just attack in the iframe, but usually I do not do that. Oh, I need to use this. It took a while for me to realize what chain I was in. I guess I should probably show this off. If you get hit by that, bubbles will just breathe out. And you'll be stunned until for a second or two. So that's kind of a fun animation if it happens. And also in that previous fight, I didn't want to use Chemical X because the hitbox for attacking the Disco Man when you have the Chemical X, when he's stunned with Chemical X, it seems basically impossible to hit him, so I don't want to use Chemical X for that fight. Now we're on Dark Museum. This is a level that's in. I think it's a level in, like, one of the 80% levels in every game except that Mojo Jojo. That's another thing. There are extra levels you can play, but they are the 80% levels that I'll be doing this run. If you either use passwords or there are passwords from other games that will unlock extra levels, and if you either use those passwords or get 100%, you can unlock the extra levels. Wait, I went the wrong way. Heck. Oh, that's right. The enemies in this level hurt you, or no, I mean the people. Mojo Jojo turned the town people evil, so they'll try to attack you. Normally, if you run into them, they just run off and they cast a collectible, but here they try to hurt you. And cruelly, if you want to get 100%, if you want to get 100%, you need to, like, to attack the townspeople, the people who were turned evil by Mojo Jojo to get 100%, so that's something that's kind of not nice, but that's what the game wants to do for that. But I'm not really 100% here because it can be kind of tricky. It can be like you have to get like every collectible that you're seeing here and save and defeat all the enemies. And also for some, I'm not even able to find all of them because I don't know. I don't know if I'm not even sure if it's possible to get 100% on all the games. I feel like it probably is, but some of the collectibles seem so hard to find that I haven't been able to find them. So I want to get this, so I'll look all these function balls because there's going to be like multiple people to fight. I'm going to have to fight Arturo and Billy for the fight coming up in Pink Council Green, and they have 8 and 16 HP, so I'll need to have as many functions as I can to get through that quickly. Oh, I instantly entered the sandcastle layer. You don't need to enter that area there. You can just fly over it, and that's one of the few things you can skip. For the most part, you can't really skip anything. You can skip that. And this is a level that in Bad Mode Jojo that does not have any checkpoints, so there's also a lot of bonus pits, so this can be a pretty tricky level too, and the boss fight is also pretty hard. And Arturo only has 8 HP as well, so I can attack him that and he's still yelling out. And one thing with the red phones is that Blossom will attack all of the enemies, but that still takes extra time as opposed to attacking one, so it's still not really worth it to have her do that. Oh, I don't trust how much flight gauge I have there. For bullets. Let me guess, I'm gonna switch games. I don't want to have to switch games here. Good. Ah, luckily I think I'm at the point where I'll be fine even if I don't react constantly to changing games. Also, I think I've got to get the green phone, so I'm getting some extra flex for this boss fight coming up. There is one that appears, but I've got to get it. I think I'm almost finished with this fight. And that's the end of that one. So this run's going pretty well. This is probably one of the trickiest stages in the trilogy, though. Because there's a lot of bonus pits and... Oh my gosh, that was scary. I think there was maybe a platform down there, but I was really close to a bonus pit. But luckily I found that. I was able to get that spike refill just in time before I started falling down. I did see platforms down there, but I don't know if I would have landed on them. So this stage is very similar to how it works in Blue, which was the second level that I did. So it can be a little tricky to keep both that stage and the stage of muscle memory, but I've played these games quite a bit lately, so I think I should be fine. I'm being a little careful because I'm on health. It'll be good. Luckily, Kim only has 8 HP, so it's not the worst fight to do. On low health. The boss fights aren't really the big, huge thing with that game, with Blue. The trickiest one is probably the disco fight. And the fight coming up if you don't do a pretty big cheese strat that I'll show later on. So that's that. I can deal 14 HP with the phones here, and Roach Coach has 20 HP, and he runs around after you hit him once, so it's definitely worth it to use the phones just to avoid him running around, just so you can get more damage and fewer hits. I think that was 2 or 3. I want to say 3. So I need to deal 3 more after I switch back to the game. And one thing with this is that all the main characters we talk to in green here, I think they like that the gangrene gang is dressing up as the main character NPCs that you talk to in this game, or in green. Might be 4 or 3. So after this, I'm going to start using the phones. Sometimes you can run around for a really long time. Okay, no, I don't think I should be trying to find shortcuts in this run, because I don't remember exactly where there usually be shortcuts. It's just like the route I know. I'm trying to take a fast route, but I think I was just heading backwards. And having head to this tunnel to save Miss King. And now head back. There's like a lot of different paths, so it can be a little tricky to find the way through. Oh, I'm mad at those phones. I'm almost up to this point here. Oh wait, no, I need to use another phone, and that's the end of that fight. If the boss is flashing after you use a phone, that means that you've defeated them. Oh great, I hope I don't accidentally enter the same level again after I switch games. It's another worry of the shuffler. Okay, I didn't. And this is the final level of Bad Mud Jojo. So that is cool. I want to get that Chemical X because the final boss in this can be hard. But yeah, Snake Vader, like disguised himself there, so yeah, that's kind of how this part works. And there aren't any more checkpoints after this, and the section coming up is probably the hardest checkpoint in the trilogy, maybe. And so now I'm facing Mr. Mime. You can just do this. You're intended to go all the way to the left and back through the maze, but if you use Chemical X, he'll be stunned, and you can just attack there. And just totally skip doing that, and it's a pretty major skip that saves probably about a minute or so you definitely want to do that. It's probably one of the most major secret fights in this game, honestly. There is a way to clip, but I haven't really found a way to do it consistently or in a way that saves time, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was a way to save time using it. I'm going to get the phones because the fight coming up is pretty hard in this game. So I need to get this checkpoint to save Miss King, and then she talks about how Mother Jojo is around here. So there is this secret entrance that you can use that's a lot faster than flying up, which is another route. So you definitely want to take it. And there's a phone right there I can use that'll help with the fight coming up. And it's definitely a tricky fight, and I'll explain more when it starts. It's really annoying how, and if you're using stamina as your hit, you'll continue using stamina even though you wouldn't use stamina if you were just hit normally. So okay, don't change games, good. That is a lot harder than it might look. What's the falling animation? Oh. The one where they're waving their hands is a falling animation. Is the falling animation. I don't really... Yeah, like that one just there is the downward facing animation. But there's not usually that much use for flying down in the run. Generally, just falling is a lot faster. And like, I do want to be kind of flying with no stamina a lot, because just repeatedly doing that while you're around the ground helps with going quickly. I'm gonna get to full stamina and try to do this. Because you can just go really far horizontally, which helps with getting to the boss fight quickly. And luckily, because I have these bones, this fight, I can deal 15 damage right here, and I'll only need to deal 1 more hit afterwards. If you don't do that, this fight can be a little tricky, so I want to be sure to get those bones. And I'm heading to a pretty tricky part of Blue. Because I'm having to deal with headwind again, and it's very possible I could accidentally press left or I could be pressing left and then suddenly switch back to this game, which is really punishing if that happens, because I'll just go far back. We'll see if that happens here. So what I want to do here is 7 hits and then use the phone. And I really want to avoid getting hit by that, because that does a full heart of damage, even though most of the things in this game only do like a third of a heart. And that was a good first phase. I think that was 7 hits. I might have one more. Okay, yeah, that was the first phase. And each phase has 12 HP also. So it's a pretty long boss fight, and you want to get your phone. Okay, good. I had to... I definitely lost a lot of time there, but it worked out. But the second phase is probably the easiest, in my opinion, because it's just similar to the first boss, and so I just kind of do what I usually do there, except I don't use the phone because I want to save them for the final phase. And I'm already almost done with Bad Mojo Jojo. I only have like that boss and then entering the hard, and I'll be finished. And yes, I'm switching games and that again. And now we're heading to the final level of Paint the Townsville Green, and this is a pretty tricky level because it's kind of a boss rush, but you don't really get a lot of phones, so some of the bosses are a lot harder to do in this iteration. There is some chemical X here, which I recently discovered that helps quite a bit. Like the boss coming up, unlike the first iteration, I won't be wanting to use the phones because I want to save them for the fight after that. I don't know how many hits, but oh, I can use bubbles here because I still have 10 chemical X, so I can still use the 10 chemical X and the red phone and deal 12 HP total for the final phase. So, but now I'm on to this. I luckily escaped the headwind without any issues. I'm kind of a little sad that generally there haven't been any major things that have went wrong yet. Maybe I'm speaking a little too soon, but like, it's kind of hoping that some of those might be shown off, but it looks like maybe they won't. What? I got punched there? Okay, game. And now I'm on to the final phase. You kind of just want to use the phones and the complex for this, because he shoots things in that are incredibly hard to telegraph, but if you do this, you can just kind of repeatedly do this, and after I run out of these, I'll use the phone and that'll be the end. Okay, I still need to actually enter the hard, so I haven't completed the game yet, but I'm about to complete it. And you do want to be careful to not stay on like the tails here for too long, because they can grab you and just throw you off them. So you want to be careful about staying on those. But you do have to stay on them for pretty long to refill your stamina, so it can be a little tricky in a section. Okay, so I can just deal one hit then. Oh, I guess the pause menu is probably one of the better places to have that happen. And that is the end of Bad Mojo Jojo's. I'm just using the hotkey to signal if the game's completed. And so there's only this and Battle Hymn left, which helps quite a bit because I'll know exactly which game I'm switching to when there's a game switch. Yeah. And so I just want to use this and then the red phone, and this game will be complete as well. So there's only Townsville Green left now. I'm not even doing like control shift in here, just because I'm worried there'll be a sudden game switch as I'm pressing the hotkey, so I'm just kind of waiting to switch. So these bosses are a little hard because first you have to face them both at the same time, and also I don't use them. I'm not using the phones because I want to save them for the next fight. What? Oh yeah, I can just end this game because I completed the 5 levels. And so this is the only game I'm doing now, so I can kind of just explain this, how this works more. So now that I've fighted them, I need to go back. And fight Archer and Billy again. And I won't have as many power-ups for the fight, so I'll need to strategize a little more, but I do have quite a bit of chemical X, thankfully, which helps a lot in the fight. And there is also a fight after that that is thankfully pretty cheesable. Where am I? Okay. I just want to make sure I was not over on these pets. And I just want to use the green cones again like this to attack Arturo, because otherwise I would need to fly up, and the platform that he's on is not solid even if it looks like it. So I would need to fly as I'm attacking him, which is really finicky to do. So it's better to just use the bombs to attack him there. And I can just kind of use the chemical X here to unlock. If I don't mess up like I did there. Okay, and that's the end of that fight. And so now I just need to go to fight Ace. Where am I? And also the sugar spice and everything nice are collectibles in this. And what they do is that if you get all three of them, they give you another life. But I don't know if they're required for 100% though. Okay, good. I did not mess up the stun lock. You can just stun lock Ace here, and he'll just keep being in his baseball batting animation. And time's gonna be after I hit the heart, so get ready on that. And there's just 12 hits, so thankfully it's not that hard of a boss. And time! So I didn't catch what time that is, but that felt like a pretty good run. Like there was only like one death, I think. Maybe there were more, but there weren't any really major deaths. And I didn't have to repeat any of the levels, which is nice. So yeah. So that was a lot of fun, and thanks Undefined Behaviour for having me, and I guess I'll give some shout-outs. I'll shout out Frozen Flybond. I heard about them playing this, and they made me want to play it myself, and I have it, and it's been a lot of fun just learning this game, and they've also helped a lot with the routing. And I'll also shout out Author Blues, who developed the randomizer. I'll get a link in chat real quick to his randomizer. So definitely check it out. And so I guess we'll be getting set up for the next run. So bye everyone.